Welcome to the 2025 Mercuro Class Debate. My name is Kaida and this is my team. We are Avery, Danica, Paulina, and Medina. We're on the negative side of the topic, zoos should be banned. My reason is that zoos help animals reproduce successfully and efficiently. For example, according to wildwelfare.org, the Los Angeles Zoo and the San Diego Zoo spent 10 years trying their best to repopulate the California condors. They turned 24 birds into 170 because of their efforts. The California condors have a rough time reproducing because of the chemicals they're consuming and their loss of habitat. This is all happening because of what us humans are doing, so allow us to make it right. Zoos provide breeding areas with all the resources that the animals need. There are many other examples of zoos helping animals reproduce, like how the AZA zoos help black-footed ferrets from extinction, and how with the help of the Phoenix zoos and others, the Arabian oryx was saved from extinction. So ladies and gentlemen, this is why zoos need to stay or the endangered animals will die.
Thank you very much. Affirmative side. Sure, absolutely. Yes, you can feel free to clap. A very nice introductory speech on the affirmative side. Negative side, we will now hear from your opening speaker, and you have up to 3 minutes, and your time begins now.
Hello, I'm Malia, and we're the proposition team for Zoos Should Be Banned, and my team consists of Matthew, Victor, Danny, and Melanie. Now, I'm sure all of you have been to or seen a zoo before, but have you seen the effects zoos have on animals? For example, many zoos lie. If you were to go to a zoo and ask a worker what they do to help the animals, most common responses are your ticket admission goes directly to the conservation effort, babies just born help wildlife population numbers, and then the animals are healthy and happy. According to earth.org, which is created by multiple professors and data scientists, 41% of the time the guides are actually educating you correctly, which means 59% of the time they're giving you misinformation. These are usually just regular people who happen to do the job. Plus, even though I know they do have rehabilitation centers, on ScienceDirect.com, only 10% to 30% of animals that are released survive a year. So the rehabilitation centers don't actually help that many of the animals they rescue. Being a member of an endangered species doesn't mean they can afford fewer rights. Thank you.
Thank you very much to
the side. I'm just going to do this real quick. You are the affirmative side. You agree that zoos should be banned. And the negative side, you disagree. They shouldn't be banned.
Okay, we're going to go back to the affirmative side to stay on the correct pace here. So you'll have another chance to speak right now. Your next speaker for the affirmative side has 90 seconds. But if you'd like, you have a bonus 45 seconds where any one of you can speak if there is anything you'd like to say in rebuttal to what you heard from the negative side so far. No? All right, your next speaker, you have up to 90 seconds, and your time begins now.
Hi, my name is Matthew. I believe zoos should be banned because they are unsafe. For example, in 2016, a 3-year-old kid fell into a gorilla exhibit. Thankfully, the gorilla did not harm the child, but the zookeeper still killed the gorilla, even though the gorilla did not harm the child, but still killed it anyways. Another tragic incident occurred at SeaWorld when an orca trainer was unfortunately killed by the orca. A orca is a wild animal that can never be truly controlled. And also, this was the 3rd time that the orca had killed someone. Very tragic. And I would blame the orca. Would you be okay with being locked in a small cage for entertainment for 33 years? Oh, and also, for reference, the orca's container is smaller than the parking lot. So, and also that is not suitable for such a large animal. And that's why I think zoos should be banned. Yeah.
Thank you very much from the affirmative side. To the negative side, your next speaker has 90 seconds. However, any one of you can use an open 45 seconds if you'd like to reply with any rebuttals to what you've just heard. Go right ahead. Please use the microphone.
You said that SeaWorld had an orca that killed its trainer. Well, SeaWorld is considered an amusement park, not a zoo, and we're fighting for zoos, not amusement parks like SeaWorld.
The definition of a zoo is a place that has a collection of wild animals. A orca is a wild animal. So it doesn't matter that it's also an amusement park, it's also a zoo.
Well, SeaWorld is advertised as an amusement park for people's amusement, and zoos like San Diego Zoo, they actually take care of their animals, and they don't have orcas in captivity.
Well, still, them being able to do that is still not acceptable.
Yes, that's not acceptable, but we're fighting for zoos, not amusement parks like SeaWorld.
Definition of zoo is a collection of animals, wild animals. SeaWorld has a collection of wild animals.
Okay, but they're an amusement park, and we're fighting for zoos that help their
It is
collection.
an amusement park and a zoo.
All right, we'll go ahead and move over to the next negative speaker. You have 90 seconds, and your time begins now.
Hello everybody, as you know, my name is Avery and I'm here to say that zoos should not be banned. One reason of why I even say this is because zoos protect animals against their predators, especially animals that are severely injured and can't defend themselves. But animals don't just face danger from other animals. Humans are a threat too. We have a huge impact on wildlife. Many animals are losing their homes due to things like deforestation. For example, on the website stanfordtrees.org, it says that there are 10 species who have lost their homes to things like deforestation. Once these animals lose their homes, they're forced to move and live somewhere that is anything like their original home. It might even be more dangerous for them, and they might even face more predators than they originally had, and predators that they didn't learn to fight. That's where zoos come in. See, people think that zoos give animals unhealthy diets and put them in small cages, but that's false. According to this official website named Wildlife Leadership Academy, posted an article that states how zoos are a healthier and safer habitat for injured animals rather than in the wild. So in conclusion, zoos should not be banned, and you should vote for the negative side. Thank you.
Thank you very much to our next negative speaker. We go back to the affirmative side. For your next speaker, you have 90 seconds. However, do you have any responses to what you've just heard from the negative side?
Hello everyone, my name is Victor. One of the reasons why zoos should be banned is because the zookeepers usually give animals small cages, and there's barely space to roam around live in. Also, they are in a natural habitat, so they won't have enough freedom to explore, and they won't be able to use their natural instincts, such as hunting. The animals won't be able to do almost anything in that small cage. The only thing they could do is wait, do nothing, and wait for a day of death. They don't belong there either. They belong in their habitat. I mean, would you spend the rest of your life in a cage? Exactly, no. And animals would never just want to stay somewhere for the rest of their life against their will. And we are animals too. Just because we humans are smarter doesn't mean we can take advantage of that. We should release the animals back into their real home or their habitat. And in conclusion, that's why zoos should be banned. Thank you.
Thank you so much to the next speaker on the affirmative side. Any responses or rebuttals from the negative side to what you've just heard? Okay, then we'll move into our next speaker for the negative side. You have 90 seconds, and your time begins now.
Hello, my name is Danica, and another reason zoos should not be banned is because of how they provide students with unique opportunities to study animal behavior, health, and reproduction. By being able to study animal behavior and explore the best methods for preserving threatened species, zoo research can provide the insight needed to save species and their habitats. Official sites made by scientists such as AZA.org also states that zoos teach more than 51 million students every year through fun educational programs about animals and how to protect them. Speaking of programs, the San Diego Zoo also provides help protecting endangered species by running these special breeding programs. These programs help students learn about animals, how animals mate, and how we can save them from going extinct. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much to the negative side. Affirmative side, any responses to that?
You say that zoos help with the research and studying animals and stuff, but what exactly are they finding from just seeing animals sitting in cages? Because they're not doing what they usually would do in like their natural habitat such as like hunting, what they eat.
Okay, no response over there. Thank you very much, affirmative side, for that rebuttal. We'll hear from your next speaker. You have 90 seconds, and your 90 seconds begins now.
Hello, my name is Danny, and I want to ask you a question. ever seen animals pacing around back and forth in their cages? Do you ever think about why they do this? It might seem like a harmless habit, but it's often a sign of stress and mistreatment. According to an article from National Geographic, zoos and aquariums often use harmful training methods in their shows, such as taking babies from their mothers before they are mature enough. These techniques can cause fear, stress, and long-term mental harm to the animals. And if taking a baby from its mother causes trauma in humans, why are we so surprised it does the same with animals? And it's not always because of how they're raised. Based on another article from Ballard Brief, it states that it is very common for captive animals to die earlier than normal due to the stress caused by their environment and how people treat them. Being surrounded by walls, limited space, and loud noises can cause harm. That stress doesn't just affect their mood, it weakens their immune systems and causes mental breakdowns. In summary, pacing around and behaviors like this are often signs of stress. It's not normal for the animals, and they should be free, mistreated or not mistreated. It's important to understand what's happening behind the scenes. Thank you.
Thank you so much to the affirmative side. Negative side, any responses to this? Okay, then we'll move into our next negative speaker. You have 90 seconds and your time begins now.
Hello, my name is Paulina, and I have another reason why zoos should not be banned. The ESA is a Endangered Species Act, and it is a tool that United States does to protect the animals that are endangered and that are close to being extinct. And they've been like a grateful tool since 1973 and is like safe for them. And another thing is that at the Lincoln Zoo, it helps them. Right now they're working on a type of bird that's from Puerto Rico and that are close to being extinct, but they traveled to there since they were close from being gone and put them in a breeding technology place to monitor them and to help them not get extinct. And the California condor is also is at risk to being extinct, and that's all. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much to the negative side. Affirmative side, any responses to this? Go right ahead.
I think you also forgot to mention that most captive breeding programs do not end up going successfully. Most of them do not. They don't end up well. The animals don't know what to do and they just die in the wild.
But it's better that there's at least some programs who are actually trying to not make them go extinct.
Well, they're not trying to get them.
But you don't know that.
Well, then they would have survived in the wild if they did a good job.
And they are more.
The majority of bred captivity programs to help endangered animals do not end up well.
Well, the animals are being put in these breeding programs because us humans, we're littering, and it's making animals' habitats. It's making their habitats worse, and they won't be able to survive in that habitat. So when you're saying that when they return to the wild and they're not able to survive, that's most likely because us humans are damaging their environment.
Okay, so they would never survive anyways. So just make sure that there's laws and regulations so that the environment that they're living in is not a bad environment.
There are laws against littering, and we are trying to make their habitat better again so that we can release them. But when they are being released back to the wild, they don't survive because of what we're doing. And if you say they shouldn't survive because they can't survive naturally by themselves, what we're doing is not natural. What we're like the chemicals that we're releasing into their habitat isn't natural.
Okay, I guess you're right, but there should be laws to not release chemicals into the wild.
Yeah, and there are laws, but people disobey them. They don't listen.
Okay, well, enforce them more. It's obviously not being enforced good enough.
Yeah, everyone tries, and while we're doing that, we have breeding programs, and we are trying to bring their population numbers back up.
You also say that it's not natural to release chemicals and stuff. Is it also natural to take animals out of their habitat, put them in a zoo, and force them to breed with other animals and then release them back?
It's not natural, but what we're doing is also not natural, so we're trying to fix it. And I know that taking the animals is not natural, but while we're trying to fix their habitat, we need to give them a safe space to live and try to bring their population numbers back up.
Okay, with that, we're going to go ahead and move to our next speaker for the affirmative side. You have 90 seconds, and your 90 seconds begins now.
Hello, my name is Melanie. I think zoos should be banned because we need the animals be free. People always capture animals to make a zoo, so people can have fun, but other people think is bad because they capture them. It is first important to note that most wildlife experts agree that putting animals in any captive environment is mistreatment. This is because captivity on wild animals causes stress, acting out, and depression. This is why zoos should be banned. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much to the affirmative side. We go back to the negative side. Any remarks you'd like to say, rebuttals for what you've just heard? You may also give some rebuttals for anything you've heard along the way. Okay, with that, we'll move into our final speaker for the negative side. You have 90 seconds, and your time begins now.
Hello, my name is Medina. Since our last teammate Aaron is absent, I'll also be speaking on his behalf. My name is Medina. As you guys know, I will be arguing on the negative side of the topic zoos should not be banned. I think zoos should not be banned because zoos help research the animals' genes and the animals' behaviors so that one day they could be released into the wild. For example, the Cleveland Zoo helps study animals' genetics by maintaining genetic records on their animals. And also, the zoos also help them by not getting extinct because of what we have done to animals by deforestation and removing their homes and making life terrible for them. So zoos help them out by trying to regain their population and get them back to where they started and have the normal life cycle of what they started.
Thank you very much on the negative side for your final remarks. We're going to go back to, actually, no, we're all finished with the affirmative side. We are going to go into any closing arguments. Any of you can speak during this. Each side will have up to 2 minutes if there's anything you'd like to say in closing for your side or against what you've heard from the other side. This time we'll start with the negative and we'll finish with the affirmative. Negative side, is there anything that you would like to say in final remarks?
Also, I heard Danny and Matthew talking about how training them. I heard Danny especially saying how they're training them to work in shows. Most zoos that we're talking about are helping them with wildlife and extinction and not shows.
Zoos are made for supposedly they're made for animals to get better, and to save them, but then yeah, that's what I was gonna say. They're mostly used for entertainment, and like part of that entertainment is the shows that they're using, and like how Matthew said, from even though you guys say SeaWorld is like an amusement park, they also have animals that they are putting in like to show for other people, and part of that is them making zoos and how it's, and he also said that it's not safe for the animals and us.
But we're talking about natural zoos that are trying to help out, and what you guys are talking about, SeaWorld, that tells people, come look at these whales. So,
And which zoos are helping and which zoos are not?
so actually, some zoos, Natural Texas Wildlife, I'm pretty sure, they are trying to bring back the wildlife condors. Most zoos have helped like bring 27 of them back. And the zoo you guys are talking about, SeaWorld, for example, is meant for attracting people.
Yeah, so I think the zoos you're talking about are rehabilitation centers, and zoos are like really put a collection of animals on display.
Those are the zoos which are telling people to come look at these animals.
Yes, and I think Avery or Kaida also said that when the animals get released, they die from like us putting chemicals and stuff. They also die from the lack of essential survival skills and like vulnerability predators because they were not raised naturally.
Can I say something in response to the video? So there are good zoos, obviously, but how do we stop the bad zoos?
So we don't need to ban old zoos. For example, some zoos that SeaWorld, like you guys are talking about, are meant for people to come watch, come look, come laugh at these animals, do that. But most zoos are trying to save these animals.
And how many of those zoos are trying to save the animals? Can you give me a specific?
Most of them, which,
Like most is a estimation.
well, there is
A percentage.
yeah, maybe 80% is trying to save, well, the other 20% is trying to get money.
And where's the source?
Where's my source? So, my source
Is it not a good source?
she's trying to say,
This is a kind of unprofessional. Kind of unprofessional, I'm just saying.
okay, yes, I may have not have a source because I was not ready for this. But I know if I search up and look for sources right now, I bet I could find one which is saying most of zoos are trying to help unlike SeaWorld.
You still don't have a source. Where did you even get the information from? I'm kind of confused. How would you know if you don't have a source?
She said most of the zoos is that most of them are healthy.
And where'd you get that information from Google? Like, you didn't check?
All right, we're going to go ahead and now ask both sides. negative side, is there anything you would like to say in final to the audience, or do you close your arguments?
I want to say a rebuttal against Victor. So you said that most zoos or whatever are putting animals in small cages, but do you have an actual source that says that most zoos are putting animals in small cages?
Yes, in fact, I do. Pull up real quick. From what I see, it's called analog.org.
Okay, what does that source say? What does it say?
It talks about how animals are,
Microphone, please. Microphone. Yeah, just keep it. Yeah, there you go.
I need to put that. Give me a second, I need to put up the ad. So ada.org, it states that zoos are like prisons. Do you know what that means?
Well, yes, I know what prisons are, but does it say like a specific amount of what zoos are putting animals in small cages, or?
No, but it says that most of them are.
Okay, so
So you were getting mad at us because we didn't have a specific percentage of how many zoos are good and bad, but you don't have a specific percentage of how many zoos are putting animals in.
Well, I guess none of us has proper percentages, so I guess no one wins this argument. Percentages, I guess.
All right, to the affirmative side. Any final remarks that you'd like to say to the audience before we close this motion? Okay, we'll go ahead and let's hear it for both sides, ladies and gentlemen, the affirmative side and the negative side.
Fantastic job, all of you. Well done. Well argumented. Same thing over here. Excellent. It's not easy to be the first groups to go, but you sounded terrific up here. I think you all toward one day battling it out or on some kind of stage. You did a fantastic job. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to the audience. I'm going to ask that all of our presenters up here, if you would please put your heads down. Audience, I am now going to ask you to vote on which side you felt won this debate. There is a $10,000 reward. Actually, no, maybe a piece of candy. But the three things I want you to remember right now are professionalism. How did they look? How were they dressed? How did they speak? Did they have proper preparation? Number two, did they have backup for the things that they said? Were they prepared to give factual information and pertinent information to help their argument? And number three is that showmanship style. Did they speak loud? Did they speak to you? Were they able to connect with you and really pull in your vote? Okay, first I'm going to remind you the affirmative side, that's the group that agreed that zoos should be banned. And over here we have Melanie, Danny, Victor, Matthew, and Malia. Or the negative side, that's the group that disagrees that zoos should not be banned. And here we have Kaida, Avery, Danica, Paulina, and Medina. All right. I'm going to ask you if you would please close your eyes so we don't see the votes of your fellow people. If you felt that the affirmative side, the side that agrees that zoos should be banned, has won this debate, please raise your hand. Thank you very much. If you felt that the negative side, the side that disagrees that zoos should not be banned, won this debate, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you very much. Debaters, if you could raise up your heads, please. I will let you know that there were votes, multiple votes for each side. That is a testament to just how well you argued your point. You all did a terrific job, excellent job of speaking, probably some of the best I've heard you or any class do before you. But there can only be one winner of this debate. And the winner of the first motion, zoos should be banned, put your hands together for the affirmative side. All right, if I can have you grab your Chromebooks, please continue to give them a round of applause as they